Hey Off-White Coat listeners, it is my privilege to get to tell you about this sweet deal from our friends over at Picmonic. If you haven't heard about Picmonic, it is a fantastic picture-based mnemonic platform that can certainly help out any student. Most of the videos are around 2 minutes long and provide a quick and effective way to memorize material for any upcoming medical exam. It is extremely efficient. They have this search bar function where you can search playlists on general topics like renal to step 1 to step 2, or even first aid and other books. If you want to review the Picmonic for later, you can even make a playlist of your own. Picmonic even has this repetition algorithm that is spaced out according to your learning needs. This helps with increasing long-term retention and allows you to review the right information at the right time. One of my favorite functions is the quizzes that are associated with each Picmonic. I'll take the quiz first and then learn about the associated pictures and what facts I need to sharpen up on. Honestly, Picmonic is a fantastic tool, and if you use our code OFFWHITECOAT, you'll get 20% off. That's Off-White Coat with no spaces. So what are you waiting for? Make studying the easiest part of your day. Sign up with Picmonic and use Off-White Coat to save yourself some money. Hello everybody and welcome to the Off-White Coat podcast. I'm your host Jordan Abney and today I'm back with the Bess. I am joined by my lovely girlfriend Mary Bess Skinner.
Hello. Here we are.
Yes, we are. And so she is not in the medical field, but she's followed me through my whole journey. And honestly, she's pretty in the know when it comes to medicine. And she also gives a good perspective from the outside of medicine as well. And so that's why we have her on. And it has been a hot minute. We did a lot at the very beginning. And now we're finally back with the Bess.
Yeah, did you miss me?
I did, but I don't know about everybody else. I haven't gone. You haven't gone anywhere from me.
Exactly.
The real question is, did they miss you?
Did you miss my voice, people? Because here it is, loud and proud.
Okay, everybody. Today we came to talk to you about residencies and the application to getting one. We are going to pretty much go through the whole process. So me as a medical student, and I'm in my 4th year, I'm going to be applying for Match this year.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. And right now it's just a whole matter of me just figuring out how the application process, getting all the documents in, and essentially sending them out for the residencies to review. And so this episode is going to be before the actual application deadline is. And that's one thing I can definitely recommend. The first tip is going to be to get that application out on the day that it actually is released. So September 28th, that is the day that applications drop. You've had time. They give you about a month and a half maybe to prepare all of the documents. Try to get them in as quickly as possible. Now we can talk about the letter of recommendations later, and those can come later. But try to get that application out the day of it dropping. So, with that being said, Mary Bess has been with me throughout this whole process. It has been quite stressful. We've been traveling around. We are now in Florida. I'm currently doing a master's in biomedical research, and along with this application process, and Mary Bess has been there through the hard times, really.
That is an understatement. It has been a little stressful the past couple weeks.
Yes, yeah. Just the amount of stuff that has to be done with the application and just the stress of that, and then, with research and a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
With one step has come multiple other steps. Mm-hmm. So, but when that comes, you just keep pushing, and eventually the wall will break through.
Yeah. Or you'll fall apart.
Yeah. So do you have any... Do you have any unique insight to these past couple times for anybody, or
about the application process,
yeah,
or like where we are, the research? What are you?
I really was just seeing like how you felt about this whole process to begin with.
Sure. So, like Jordan said, we have moved once again, but we're a little south of Delray Beach and Pompano Beach, where Jordan. We just found like a cheaper place to live. So Jordan's actually doing research in Delray, Florida, which is like 20-30 minutes north. And so he just will drive to the hospital. He has class in the mornings on the biomedical research program from like 8 to 10 every morning. Some meetings scheduled throughout the day. And then after that, he goes into research mode and tries to like read articles and get some stuff together for his project he's working on. We usually try to hit up the gym and eat some lunch, and then our Wi-Fi's been down the past, like, since last Friday for almost, like, 5 days. So we've been hitting up the local coffee shops just to get Wi-Fi, which honestly has been the best for us because I've gotten so much work done for, like, my job. You've gotten so much work done. We've been dealing a lot of stuff with the podcast, trying to get some promotions out for you all. Yeah, so...
The good thing about the coffee shop thing is just like how the reason I loved studying in Grenada was the whole study hall feel where you get to leave your house and you go somewhere else and really just crank out that work. And so I actually really enjoyed that about Grenada, the fact that there was that we could go and there was like big study halls and you could spread out and really just knock things out. I think that's one of the best ways to study. So Mary Bess, she alluded to us moving, but she didn't share that we share a studio apartment together. So with me going to class and doing everything else up under the sun, there's not really a lot of room. And we just got back Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we just
so it's been a little bit of a rocky thing, but I guess that's the life of a student.
Yeah.
/ resident / every medical professional in general.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's been the least stressful part about it all, even though it has definitely been like annoying. It hasn't been stressful, but some things that I've noticed just as an outsider, not just with you, but like I have friends in the medical school life going through this process and people who have even done it before, like last year, and every time this happens, every time this season comes around, medical students freak out. Like it's just like a different side. It's just a new level of stress. And I thought I saw it all with like step 1 and step 2 and other things going on. But I don't know. This is a new level. And I guess like me and you have talked about it. I won't go into a whole lot of details. But because you don't have control of your future, like up till now, it's been stressful, but like you're the one who has control of like your grades, right, at the end of the day. But now you're getting to that level where people either pick you for interviews or they don't. You know, they pick you for a program or they don't.
Exactly.
And I think that just adds so much. It really heightens the situation, and it really, like I said, it's a whole new level of stress. So
yes, the fact that also I think coming from an international medical school as well, there is a little bit of an added pressure to the fact that you went to this school and thought that if I do this right, I get my grades going, and I make the scores possible, then I should be just as competitive as somebody else. You know, and now it kind of has come down to the wire where it really is going to be them judging you compared to a U.S. student or really just anybody. And so that is the worry, right?
Yeah.
The worry is that I can be overlooked. You can't miss me in a hospital. I'm 6'3", and I'm really, really loud, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not just my voice carries. But it's really easy to overlook me just on a paper, paper resume. And they see so many every single day that it would be easy to be overlooked just because they're looking at geographical location or step scores or anything like that. And so there is a little bit. I can understand now what some of the other people, my friends that went through the match last process, have kind of gone through, because there is a little bit of, while I have good clinical experience and I have good. I believe, you don't get to really read your letters of recommendation, but I have good resources, but still it is nerve-wracking
Yeah.
Putting yourself out there. And I guess that's the same way for all job applications.
Yeah.
You probably can attest to that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I've applied to several jobs before, and yeah, every time I do, it's like, well, I feel like I'm qualified, and then I get the rejection email, or a lot of times I don't even get an email. So,
yeah.
Honestly, too, it's a lot like dating. Like, you're putting yourself out there for someone to pick you. You're showing your best qualities, and if you get rejected, then I'm telling you, it's like dating too.
We're pretty much treating this like speed dating.
That's
And
exactly.
anytime they give me a chance to speak, I'm like, "Hello, my name is Jordani, and I'm a medical student, and I really love your program, and I'm blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
You know, you've got 30 seconds to impress me.
Yeah, that's
And-
exactly how it goes.
Yeah, and speed dating
Yeah.
to a maximum.
Yeah. So I want to know about more of the application process.
Yes. So it all begins, you have to get that ERAS token. Okay? And so that's going to be how you get the whole application process going to begin with. So get that ERAS token, and then it'll send you, a way to set it up via your email. Once you get that going, you have the whole app. You can get the whole application on their website. Mm-hmm. Once you get that going, it's all about putting in your information. If you have a CV and you have really just older heads or people that have done this before that know what they're asking, I would really reach out to them, because this is a good way to utilize that resource. And especially if you have somebody that knows, like has worked in this kind of business before, I would say utilize that as much as possible, because those people are really going to help. Because one thing for me is I don't know how to format papers and stuff like that for, a medical accreditation or these application processes. Like, nobody has run that through during medical school.
Oh, you don't have that as a class in medical
They did not
school?
teach that. No.
Well, what
Right after
medical school?
physiology, they forgot to do that.
Oh, darn it.
Dang it.
Maybe in the next medical school you go to.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the next. No more medical schools. No more after this.
So, like, what's a good tool for, like, once you set all this up and you fill out your application, like, you get the token, you drop it down the coin slot, whatever that process is. How do you,
This girl's going to the arcade.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think of when you say token. I'm like, what?
I knew exactly when I said that was what you were thinking.
Yeah. But, like, what's the best tools for finding a residency?
Okay,
basically?
so finding a residency, there's a couple of free ones. Like, really, you just want to go to a database that is providing some way, and there's a bunch of different ones. I think there is, AMA has one that's free you have to sign up, and there's a couple of other ones, like I think Residency Explorer. But one that I really found, especially if you're an international medical student, that was great for me, was Match a Resident. Yeah, Match a Resident was actually really great, though, because it showed me, like, it gave me like, they took in all my information, right? Like, step scores, location preferences, all that stuff. And they put, like, where I was likely, and, like, even the school information, and they put, like, where I was most likely to rank, or where I was most likely to get an interview from and everything. Mm-hmm. And so from there, I mean, and it's like the simple out of 100%, like 100s, 97s, 95s. So first off, it gave you a good idea of where even to start you're looking at, but also when you clicked on, like, the schools, you could also see not only, like, the data from the school, but, like, if a person in your program got an interview there, or if a person from your program got matched there, or is currently doing residency there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was super helpful, especially as an international medical student, because then you could reach out, and that's kind of who their target market is the international medical students. But I thought it was really, really great tool.
Yeah.
Some of the downfalls to it was the fact that I don't think every residency appeared. Like, there were some residencies that I looked for, and I don't know if I just wasn't compatible enough for those programs, or whatever, but they just didn't appear on my list.
Okay.
But for this program, you do have to pay. But we actually we did a partnership with them, so that anybody that is listening to this episode, it's off White Coat. You can get 15% off of the purchase. So yeah, if you just use off-white coat, no dashes, all undercase, whatever, get 15% off. I thought it was a super great tool too. And also they had like interview prep and interview and stuff for that as well. So one of the things that was really helpful, like when putting in all the application stuff, was they also had like another program that is Residency Experts. And I could just put my information, like what I was going to say for each experience, into that. And like they had some trained professional look over it. Like they would spell check everything and just kind of shorten things for brevity.
You're talking about like your personal statement, your CV and stuff.
Personal statement, CV, but even the experiences in the actual application.
Which is basically still...
I guess it's still the CV. Yeah.
CV, yeah.
So, I mean, you edit all that stuff but first, and then you send it to them, and I thought that was really good, too.
So, if you use the code off-white coat, then you get 15% off the whole, like, matching into residency, like, where you can log in.
To match a resident, yeah.
Yeah, where you can look for compatible residencies. But then they have other tools and programs, like, where you can send in your CV and personal statement. They can basically, like, go over and edit it and see how it looks and get it ready to turn into the application, right?
Yeah. And then, I thought it was really good because I had already edited it, had friends of mine that knew the whole process. They had also reviewed my stuff. And then it felt like they, even when I used these people, like when I used Residency Expert, to see if they would even change anything. And so I could see how good it was. I honestly was kind of a little bit happier. Like they just, one more quick change.
Yeah.
And it was...
I saw a couple of yours. It was like they would turn in like a small sentence into like an in-depth paragraph that needed, or whatever. It made it sound more professional. For
it did.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. Definitely made.
But to find one, you really want to just get like a database and just start searching. Use your geographical location and where you want to match to be your standpoint. But look into the programs because these are also going to show up on your interviews. Like these are going to be places that you're going to want to go. So make a list or something to where you can check through all of the places that you want to go or are applying. I know I saw one of our friends and a guest on this podcast, Bree. She did a color coordinated list and was
in Excel,
Yeah, she did it well.
That's a
shout
girl
out to
thing.
you, Bree. Yeah, way better than me. I just like scribbled it down on a piece of paper and
if that.
But
I'm just kidding.
It was so I would definitely say use one of those tools though because it's so many and like when you're using the ERAS like where you're looking up programs it feels like you're just shooting fish in a barrel. Like you can find a couple of programs you can go and type in all of the all of the places in Florida or all the places in Georgia and look up surgery places in Georgia. But you know really very little about those programs.
Yeah, which is true.
And so if you're just going off, clueless, you might miss chances at programs that really would be interested in you.
Right.
If you have like a geographical location that you really want to be at or you really love, like I knew a couple of people that I've interviewed for this show, and they were dead set on staying in New York or New Jersey. They were not going anywhere else. And if they sent one, it was to some random place that was their dream place in Colorado or dream residency in Colorado or whatever. And so from there, if you have a geographical location, that's one thing. But for us, I mean, we're all game, baby. We're going for the best one. So I really, it's just about taking it one step at a time and getting that thing filled out.
You mentioned getting letters of rec, but not having to send them in till after the application day is open. Why is that a thing?
Yeah, so the thing about that is that everything else for your application needs to be ready by September 28th. One of the few things that I think can be added are the letter of recommendations. And for one thing, too, those are the hardest sometimes to collect. Like, you can get a couple of physicians that will be really quick about it, send it, within 2 to 3 days. And some will make you wait. they'll get your heart rate up. And so essentially you can still get letters of recommendation added to your application even after you apply. Now, you want to have those letters of recommendation in when those programs actually sit down and look at your application so that they can see those letters.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that if you got to get everything else, don't worry if you don't have those, but you do need to have at least a couple. I mean, get them in if you can. But
if I were you, I would try your best to get them in.
Get
even
everything
with your whole
in.
application. Just try your best. Like, I know circumstances cannot be prevented sometimes. Like, you can only rush and harass the doctor you're asking so much. But at the end of the day, ask earlier if you have to. Get that prepared. You know the application day is coming. Go ahead and ask, right? Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but get it in all together and then don't worry about it.
You have been actually very good about... She prompts me to text the physicians a lot because I feel like I'm harassing them, which, in fairness, I am texting them almost every day.
Yeah, but for lots of reasons.
For other reasons than that. But I always just feel weird asking for things. And you have been very good about... And really, though, you got to go for it. Because sometimes people just forget, or, you know, it just slips their mind. Mm-hmm. And so I definitely say go for it. And you got to kind of pester them because your timeline's going, and they understand it because they've done it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, like, the whole process of the letter of recs is just very, like, ridiculous if you ask me as an outsider. Like, you go and you have to bug them to sit down and actually write one. A lot of them take forever to do so, so you're bugging them every day. And then you don't even get to read them. Like, how in the world, when you're a doctor, are you supposed to write one in the future when you don't even know what one looks like, first of all? And then you're just hoping that they send in a good one for you. You have no idea. What if they write something really bad and put it on that letter rec system that you have, and then it just happens? It's a bad one, you know? Like,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I have said that for years just because I don't know even how to write a really good letter of recommendation because I don't ever get to see the ones that have been written. So I really wish that was one thing that was different, was that for one that you could see, so that, and I guess they do it so that if you really were a bad student and somebody wrote a bad thing about you, you wouldn't know and then not send it in. You know, if you were Dr. Death or something, you're not like hiding it.
Yeah, I guess.
But at the same time, it would be so beneficial for my knowledge just to see what I'm supposed to be doing and what really good professionals, how they say things and how they treat students, so that I can further reciprocate that whenever my time comes.
No wonder these doctors don't want to even write them. They don't know how. They don't know what to say.
I never thought of it, but
been taught. Good point.
I
right?
never thought. I mean, let's hope nobody asks me for one anytime soon, which they won't. But
we'll see.
Yeah.
So you have your application. You have your CV. What all needs to go on that CV?
So CV is going to be, I mean, you have your basic information, you know, your geographical location and address and all that jazz. Get a photo and get a good one, you know, just a
headshot
very
photo.
Professional photo. Yes. I will say that was something also residency experts did, was they took all, like even my photo, and they just based it off of a couple of qualifiers. And I thought getting to see those qualifiers, like good hygiene, you know, well dressed, like it was, or it said, I think it might have said hygiene present or something like that.
Okay.
But there were 6 things that just said, that just meant that, you know, things that they had to check off.
Yeah.
And I don't think the application photo matters much, but I think that it is a good way to, you know, it's a good way to mess up.
Yeah.
If you took it with the iPhone on the back of the door right here.
Mirror selfie or something.
Like the one I took for med school where I'm taking it with my iPhone.
Yeah, on a white wall.
Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah. I look back at my med school application, and I was like, what in the hell was I doing?
I thought it was a great photo at the time.
I did too.
But looking back, we need to put up the old and the new headshot right here. I think, in the video.
No wonder I got rejected.
Well, you didn't.
No, I'm just kidding.
Accepted you.
I'm just playing.
But anyway, so your photo, yes, get a good headshot photo.
Oh, okay. So, yes, and that's like starting from the top. And then from there, so yeah, you want to have your step scores and certifications, you know, BLS certified, ALS, PALS, any really certification. I've seen people even put like quirky certifications that aren't medical school stuff in there, or they can put it in like the hobby section. Because I will say, pepper a little bit of your application with eye grabbers, things that they can ask you in the interview. Do not do a lot. Do not fill it full of things that they look at it and they also go, is this guy even in medicine?
Yeah. You don't want to put in your awards longest watermelon seed spitter or something.
I don't know. That's a good one. If that's the only thing you put, that's a good one. But if there's a bunch of other ones and no medical awards, that might be concerning.
You might want to put that on other.
Because that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I would put that if I could claim it.
We'll have to practice. What else is on the CV?
Yeah, so then you want to put research experience. So if you have had any opportunities to work in research, whether that is trips or presentations, papers, any real research that you can do, case studies with the hospital, put those. Yeah. I've seen some people even categorize them where if they had a lot of research, they did research opportunities, they did papers, and they did their presentations and publications and all that separately.
Oh, goodness.
Similar to the way that ERAS sets it up, if you're doing like a written copy of your CV. But ERAS will separate those publications and presentations and everything.
Okay.
And so then you want to go do work experience. You really want to, everything that I've heard, you want to really classify or restrict it to medical work experience. Or maybe this is where you pepper in some of that talking fodder where you can kind of give them a little bit of uniqueness to your personality. Yeah. I think this is a good way. Like if you've had any good jobs. I worked as a bartender at Red Lobster. I did an interview one time, and this was before the official CV was ready, and we gave him like my old one. He looked at the Red Lobster bartender thing, and he said, I worked at Red Lobster. And I was like, well, so that actually gave us a little bit of rapport. And I thought that was really cool, but it's supposed to be reserved mainly for medical, so you got to really restrict it or pick and choose.
Now, if you don't have a lot of medical work experience, I would put what you've done. Like, just don't leave it blank, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
You need to put something.
Even if you have just one medical experience, but you have like 3 other that's not, would you say, like, just go ahead and add it?
It depends on how recent it is.
More is better. Oh, yeah, true. Within 5 years, add it?
I think it is, the saying is within 5 years to 10 years. But really, if it's anything after that, I really wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
And so, even if you're encroaching past 5 years, because medical school is that 4 years, so if you did something especially interesting in college, throw that in there. Like, make it that 8-year jump. But they're going to be less interested in high school at this point.
Yeah. Another thing that's big is volunteer experience.
Yes, and that's the next step. And ERAS separates it as like work experience, research experience, and volunteer experience, and then you explain how the program.
Yeah.
But volunteer experience, put it all.
Yeah.
Put it all.
Yeah.
That only benefits. That was you working for free.
Yeah.
Put it all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Tailor your work experience, increase your, and then also there's hobbies now.
And interests, right?
Hobbies, interests, yes. Yeah. So one thing that I can say they want you to do for the ERAS is to have it in a sentence format. So, say something unique about yourself and then kind of throw a little sentence in there to give them something to ask about.
Yeah, so like you don't want to just put running. You want to put be like, I love to run on the outdoor trails and the beaches, specifically at night when it's
Or
cool.
you say, like, I participate in marathons or
That's
things like
way
that.
better than what I just said.
Yeah.
But don't just put running.
I love running on the beach in the midnight sun.
Yeah. I was trying
They're
to
like,
be
what?
creative and just be like goofy. You want to be kind of goofy, but without being stupid.
Like, I put, okay, for one of...
You want to just grab their attention and be like, that's quirky.
Yeah, like, I put salsa connoisseur. Because I will say one thing is, in medical school, I dedicated a good portion of my medical school career. No, I'm just kidding. But I did figure out how to make amazing salsa. Like, I asked around. I went to the source, Hispanics, and got them to show me. But it was one of the first days of when I got to Grenada. A bunch of my friends, this is people of all ethnicities, had come, or me and a couple of my buddies, we made salsa, but we made it a mixture of cultures. And it was so good, and it was so much fun, that from then on, I just kept making salsa and kept making salsa and kept making salsa, to the point that I got a good handle on it now. For a white boy, I have a good handle on it.
Yeah. I mean, there for a while, you were making it every week. Like, you were making it when the previous batch wasn't even fully eaten.
People wanted the salsa. And in Grenada, you could find great tomatoes for it and jalapenos for really cheap. So it was like set.
Yeah.
And
so, long story short.
So I put that, and then I also took like salsa classes in Colombia. So I said salsa connoisseur,
and Grenada.
mainly of the, true. So I was mainly of the dish, I believe, or whatever. Mainly of the dip, but not of... Yeah. But also of the dance.
But still a fan of the dance.
But still a fan of the dance, yeah.
It was really well worded, but it was a cool interest, like salsa connoisseur, mainly of the food, but also a big fan of the dance or something like that.
Yeah.
So like that kind of stands out, but it also it's very, very true. Jordan is always listening to Spanish music so that he can dance, and always trying to make salsa.
I love salsa.
Perfected the recipe.
Yeah, I didn't realize I could easily make good salsa my whole life until I got there. And then I was like, oh, it's game on. Yeah. Once I got the tools were given to me.
Now, people out there, don't go taking the salsa connoisseur interest.
No. Well, you got to be able to back it up. The thing is, you want to say something that you can talk about in your application.
That speaks about you. You don't want to lie. Like, actually pick something that you enjoy doing.
Because they will ask you. The interest section of it is for them to ask you. So this is your time to put in your softball questions that you can really nail and show who you are.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I say take some time to think about that one and make sure that's good. Put something that matters to you for the love of God.
Beach running.
That's yours? Beach running?
I don't run. Heck no. I'm just going back to the first thing I said.
I would say do your interest, but also get some feedback from other people. Because I will say there's a lot of people that said things like the salsa thing. I didn't even realize I did. I didn't think about it until somebody, until you pointed it out.
Me.
And so...
Make sure that was clear.
So it is helpful, because you don't even understand your own quirks.
So wrapping up the CV, the last thing you need is a quirky, attention-grabbing personal statement.
Yes. Oh, also, yes. I've watched a couple things on the personal statement, and we did a residency summit and all of this on it. And honestly, the best way to do the personal statement from what I've seen is that you really want to have your personal statement to catch the viewer's eye.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people that either read the first paragraph and the last paragraph, or they're going to read your whole thing. And this is your time. You really got to catch them early.
Yeah.
There's a couple of ones that they showed at that residency summit that I thought were really interesting. Like one guy, he put like "I love dinosaurs" as the header, and then like space, or like did the
I thought you weren't supposed to have a title.
No. It wasn't like a title. It was just like the first 3 sentences, and then he put like a gap. You know, you put the enter button, and then you do the gap.
Yeah.
And then he went on to explain how he loved dinosaurs throughout his whole life. He wanted to be a paleontologist, and his love for bones led him to be an orthopedic, to go into orthopedic surgery. That's cool. And so, like, the person, when you first see it, you go, what the hell is this guy talking about? And you start reading. And they even showed it with bots and all these other things, and the bots couldn't put it all together, like the catching of your eye. Interesting. One lady was talking about how her mother was a mail-order bride, and her father raped her or whatever. The OBGYN noticed that there were abusive stuff. Yeah. He abused her, maybe not raped her, whatever. She was pregnant with the baby at the OBGYN appointment, and that OB called Protective Services. She contacted them. They got her away, and then she gave birth. Well, that little baby that was born is the girl that is now applying for OBGYN. But it's like catching. You're like, what?
That is dark. But, yes. I mean, you might as well use your story to your advantage, right?
Yeah, and most people don't have a story like that, but you can find something unique about yourself to catch the eye. Like, we had one good friend that came on here, and she talked about...
you can listen to her podcast episode a couple episodes back. Her name is CC Thunder.
Yes, CC Thunder. Go check it out, because she talked about her personal statement in depth, and she described internal medicine as
she compared it to
medium roast coffee. Yeah. And she described the whole process, and she made it sound so beautiful that she said it came up plenty of times on our interviews.
It was the one, she read some of it to us, and it was really one of the most creative things I've ever heard.
Yeah. And
the fact that she could compare internal medicine to a medium roast cup of coffee, it was just like brilliant. And it was really attention-seeking. But you don't want to go in there and just be like, hi, my name is Mary Bess, and I want to be a pediatrician because I love kids, and I just want to help the world because I love kids, and this is what I've always wanted to do for my whole life, and I just plan on helping the world.
Yeah, they found that actually those are the ones that are skipped over. Yeah. So there was actually somebody that wrote a personal statement that was saying about how he didn't want to do medicine, how he thought it was a waste of time and it was a rat race. And he listed the reasons why. Mm-hmm. He got more interviews than a lot of people that were doing simple ones like that, because people wanted to hear why he did that.
And why he's here?
Yeah.
I do. I'm very intrigued. I would love to know.
Exactly. So be unique. Be unique.
Yes.
And I think that's really the best way to end this bad one, is you really want to make sure your application is unique to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you need any help, please reach out to us at offwhitecodepodcast@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram, or we have Facebook. You can find us anywhere now, people. Yeah, we have now branched out, so you can find us anywhere. We're going to have the videos dropping on YouTube. We're going to have, we've got Facebook, TikTok, everything. So please reach out, because we can help too, or we can at least put you in hands of people that really can help. Yeah,
and use that code, Off-White-Coat, for Match a Resident. Like, it has really helped Jordan in not only finding residencies, but correcting his application and his CV and his personal statement. And now they also have that little interview prep. We haven't done that yet, but we're going to.
And hopefully this helped. Anything else, babe?
Nope, that's it. So thank you for following along. Follow us on all social media, and good luck in residency applying.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
We love you, friends. Hey everyone, I want to take this time to tell you about our friends over at TrueLearn. They have this top-of-the-line test bank that is perfect for any upcoming board exams that you may have. They have test banks for all types of exams. So whether you're studying for medical school, nursing school, OT, pharmacy, and others like speech pathology, TrueLearn is the way to go. If you're like me and going through medical school, they have a question banks for all the big exams, like Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3, with quality assessments for each exam. Look, I know we didn't go into healthcare because we love taking tests. This is the hard part of the job. Make it easy on yourself with TrueLearn. Sign up now with the code OFFWHITECOAT
to get $25 off your purchase. That's OFF white coat, no spaces, to get $25 off your purchase. This is a test bank that you do not want to pass up on. Make this easy on yourself. Take the deal, pass your boards, and get back to enjoying the reason you went into healthcare. And make sure to use off white coat when you pick it up.